This is extraordinary footage. What you are seeing and hearing is the actual abduction of political opposition leaders in Venezuela. This coming a day after White House sanctions were announced on the country's president, Nicolas Maduro. Retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel and host of War Stories, Oliver North, joining us now. Colonel North, you know a thing or two about supporting democracy movements in Latin America. Yeah. You did a lot in that regard in Central America back in the 80s. Here, you do have an organized political opposition that was working within a democracy until last weekend. How do you support it? Do you support it in terms of just cash? Do you actually get involved in thinking of how to overthrow this dictatorship, or what?
Well, look at Maduro's response to the sanctions that have been imposed upon him was to go on the air and say that the threats and sanctions of the empire don't intimidate me. And then he went on, bring on more sanctions, Donald Trump. So obviously, he's not affected by what was just transpired. Last night's arrest of the two prominent leaders of the Democratic opposition, former Caracas Councilman Leopoldo Lopez and former Caracas Mayor Antonio Ledesma, are clearly indicators that if you're involved in the opposition, you too could be arrested. There's probably 5,000 or 6,000 who have been, in addition to the 160 some odd who've been killed because of their opposition. Look, this is not good news. The UN and the OAS are toothless. We are paying the price for the Obama administration's malign neglect of what's going on in this hemisphere. So our options are, obviously, sanctions against Maduro alone are meaningless. Sanctions against that new constitutional assembly, however, could well be effective. And before you start taking down the oil, because quite frankly, it would drive the price of oil up here, gasoline up here in the United States. It will make OPEC happy. But the bottom line of it, Venezuela's economy is already in the toilet. So what you do is you go after by name of all those who just got elected to this phony sham assembly to draw up the new constitution. Before, and you got to remember, before Maduro can go ahead and start taking Americans in. There are 25,000 or more American citizens and dual nationals in Venezuela. Not a good sign.
Sticky situation. Meanwhile, how to stop North Korea's nuclear race has become even more critical less than a week after its longest-traveling intercontinental ballistic missile test was completed. U.S. Air Force is announcing it's planning to conduct a long-range missile test of its own tomorrow morning. Colonel North is still with us. As for China, which we were sort of relying on somewhat to curb North Korea's nuclear ambitions, the president said the following in two Sunday tweets. He said, "I'm very disappointed in China. Our foolish past leaders have allowed them to make hundreds of billions of dollars a year in trade, yet they do nothing for us with North Korea. Just talk. We will no longer allow this to continue. China could easily solve this problem, but what stick should we apply to China to force their hand, Colonel?"
Well, it's very simple. You can't make a light bulb in North Korea, but they can build nuclear weapons. You can't make a tire for a truck or a munitions carrier or any of that in North Korea, but you can in China. And so the answer is to be very targeted about what you're going to do. The South African sanctions back in the 70s under Carter actually worked. It brought about the regime change that they were trying to do. Whether you like it or not, they're effective. There needs to be these very targeted sanctions, just like we just talked about with Venezuela. There are individuals in China who make money providing parts, equipment, and all the kinds of things that they need.
But Colonel, I hate to jump the gun here, but we got to go. But I have to ask you before we do, if the sanctions don't work, are we going to have to take a militarily offensive measure to stop them from going the distance and getting ICBMs with nukes on it?
Look, you are the dad of a Marine, and I am a Marine. The last option ought to be military force, but it ought not to be taken off the table.